Hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekly collective reading. It's good to see you. Little Apollo wanted to make an appearance today. It's been a while since you showed at the beginning, so let's put him down and let's get started, folks. All right. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is a weekly collective reading where we're going to cover a lot of stuff together, actually. We'll begin with some channeled messages that are going to come from the totem that you chose for me, which is a diamond. Actually, before this was selected as the topic, last night I had all these wild dreams about like crystalline structures and things kind of building up like stalactites and stalagmites. I'm like, what the heck's going on? So I was like, oh yeah, that's one of the topics. So definitely wanted to delve into it. It was part of my dreams anyway. So we'll talk about diamond energy and how that's going to help you with the week ahead. Then we'll go straight into a 7-day forecast taking us from today, Sunday, the 8th, till next Sunday, what is that, the 15th? So we'll do all 7 days, card by card breakdown. Then we'll look at blessings and blocks. And then the only part of today that's going to be specific to any certain sign is going to be the elemental forecast, where I take groups of signs. Basically, we'll do 4 groups of 3 signs each. And that way we can get a kind of a pulse check on what's going on. A quick reminder that all of the January readings are now live on my main channel page. You can go to my playlists and see them there. Also a reminder that YouTube did some new sorting. So live videos are separate from the pre-recorded ones. For me, you're always going to want to go to live or to shorts. And then you can go to the playlist below to see, again, a little bit better organization if it's hard to find something. And then again, we'll get into a special topic today, which is Diamond in the Rough. And the main reason that that's a very cool title, and just to kind of explain what it means if you're not familiar, diamonds aren't always beautiful when you find them. They're kind of like a rock or a stone. You got to shine them up. You've got to cut them in a certain way to sort of see the potential. And I think that's a really good metaphor for looking at opportunities that may go unseen or unnoticed. And that's what we're going to be looking at in the special topic today. There's a lot of other little pieces that we'll do today, but those are the main sort of focal points. If you're brand new and you like what you see here, at some point, I'd love for you to hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon just so that you are kept in the loop when I do either an impromptu video or if a time change happens or things like that. The bell icon is important. You can also follow me across social media. If I don't announce when it's going to go live, I'll always announce that it was live and you can catch the recap. A quick note on social media, I don't offer readings, I don't send out friend invites, and I won't use messages. There's a lot of imposters out there. For some reason, it's hard to get those taken down, especially on TikTok, like nothing is happening. So pay attention to, it's always my full name, and if someone's communicating with you, it's not me. This is the way we'll talk. You have to show up to a live. All right. Thank you, everybody who does show support here through SuperStickers, Super Chat memberships. Dakota's my moderator. He's been saying thanks to everyone. I appreciate that. All right, folks, let's get started. Again, we're going to begin today with our channeled messages. I just rebooted my machine, so let me go ahead and pull that presentation up. Again, we'll be focusing on the diamond for today, which I think is appropriate. It was in my dreams anyway, but it's also what you chose for me. So it all works out in the end. Nice synchronicities at play. Okay, so here we go. Your spirit totem today is the diamond, and we have a bunch of channel messages surrounding it. First and foremost is the hidden potential. So if you stumble upon a diamond, sometimes it just looks like a standard rock or quartz crystal. You have to kind of like really go in there, and like I said, it's all about the cut, and it's also about shining it up a bit. So how can we kind of connect this to your everyday life? Well, the Two of Wands is a perfect example here. It's a visionary card. You could see something, the potential of something, yourself included, your own potential, before others around you recognize or understand it. In fact, that's a lot of times what happens with intuitives. It's sort of like, but I know it can happen. I see it. I can kind of taste it almost. So I want you to trust yourself when you have one of those epiphanies or aha moments. And the cool thing with the Two of Wands, it always is connected to either magician or high priestess energy. And it's very grounded, even though it is, it's fire, but it's also a little bit of earth there because he's holding the globe. So it's about how can I ground my inspiration? How can I take these ideas? And I'm going to show you basically the best way to kind of put your point out there. Or I was going to say, like, if somebody doubts you, the best revenge is success. And it's not about revenge because I don't believe in that. But the best way to kind of prove your potential is just to go out there and do it. And so that's really what this is about. I see it, I'm going to do it. Let's get started. Okay. So diamonds literally are grace under fire or grace under pressure, a little bit of both. And you have to go through the fire to become a diamond. It's carbon that is pressurized and heated. It's 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit, or around 16,000 and some odd change Kelvin, and about 825,000 pounds per square inch in pressure. That's hot, and that's a lot of pressure. Something beautiful comes out of that heat and pressure. A rearrangement of atoms, to be specific, of the carbon atoms, and a stronger bond because they're merged together, I believe. So I featured the strength card here. Pressure can either bring out the beast, or it can bring out this sort of strength energy. And so you have this potential, if you slow down, if you take a deep breath, and if you think to yourself, how can I regroup? Because that's basically what the diamond is doing. It's regrouping its atomic structure, right? And so if you can regroup, you can't keep doing the same old, same old. It's saying, I have to try it differently. But if I try it differently, if I look at it differently, then maybe I can come out of this better or stronger or feeling more confident than I did going in. And that's all we can hope for at the end of the day. So you have a potential to show up as being graceful even when others would lack that grace or lack that finesse. And you can show it right now. All right, there's a line I wrote in my book a while ago. I specifically talk about this. So the angel of transformation or death is pointing to a ring on Elijah, who's one of the supporting main characters. One of his, basically a diamond ring. And he says, take that diamond, for instance. It was once carbon. Heat, pressure, and time created something new with stronger bonds and a greater capacity to reflect light on its previous incarnation. Basically, the angel of death was talking about rebirth and reincarnation and its function. Sometimes elements have to be rearranged several times in order to reach their full potential. This is what normally happens to a soul with reincarnation. Each life it learns something that changes its composition, making it stronger, making it wiser, making it clearer. We can do that in this lifetime. We don't have to die and come back to have that happen. So this is sort of like a nice metaphor for life. The pressure, the difficulty, etc., it kind of just makes us a little bit stronger. Doesn't have to make us, it can make you harder, but it can also make you clearer. And that's kind of what the diamond is. It's like, I'm tougher, but I can see things clearer. So I like that. All right. Nice segue into the angel of transformation here. So they're capable of several changes, diamonds. They go from carbon to a sort of murky crystal, and then they get shined and cut in such a way that they're that diamond on your finger. So at least 3 incarnations before they are the gemstones that we've come to know. And the facet piece is also really important. I had this drama teacher who was dramatic, but she had some good advice sometimes. And one of the things that, like, I remember one of the first things that we were talking about when I went to one of her classes was, you know, which side do you choose to show as an actor of yourself in a role? Because she said we all have a lot of facets. Some we keep close to ourselves, some we put on show. It's those hidden facets that make a role interesting when you reveal something that people didn't expect. And so you have a chance to step into that star power as well, showing a different facet, a different side, a different depth that people didn't know that you had. And ultimately that makes it more attractive. Also, I didn't put it here, but it's the flaws. And she didn't talk about this, but this is sort of my epiphany. When I think of like my favorite characters in movies, and then the favorite actors that are capable of portraying it, it's the actors that can put nuance into the flaws of their characters so that the flaw makes them more relatable, that the flaw maybe is something that we can all learn from, and that they overcome some of those flaws. Because if a hero is too perfect, they're not relatable. That was actually something when I was going through the editing process of my first book. One of the editors said, I can't relate to this character. Give them some flaws. Give me something. Give them a little bit of something to overcome so we can root for them. And I was like, that's great advice. Because in everyday life, that's us, right? That's why we're here every weekend. We want to look at how we can improve. So a diamond represents that. And then a fun fact, because, you know, I like not just astrology, but astronomy. If we look at our star, for instance, the sun, it's going to become a red giant. And then it's going to lose its atmosphere, and then all that's going to remain is a white dwarf at the end. The white dwarf is basically just the core of the star, and it'll be carbon. And basically what happens at the end is it's a diamond. So it'll keep shining, like radiating some heat for a while, but eventually it just becomes, I think it's called a brown or black dwarf eventually, where there's just nothing there and it's just a diamond, but there's no light. So kind of fascinating. But even a star, our star will be a diamond one day. So it's all interconnected here. It's all, you have that potential to shine. There's a lot of different facets. And at the core of our sun, when it passes away, it will basically be a diamond as well. All right. This was specific to the dreams last night before I knew the topic that was going to be chosen today. I kept seeing these structures. And so I was looking at like these pyramids being built, but they were all these little crystals that were forming it. I was looking at other structures that were more like an octagon and things like that. And the main thing that they were showing is go up. They were too flat. So many of us are in the foundational stage. Basically, spirit and guides were saying, keep building upward. And it was almost like I was looking like a teacher looking at class projects, and ostensibly I could see that the work was still being done. So I featured 8 of Pentacles and 3 of Pentacles, which is basically apprenticeship and mastery. But there were a bunch of people that just gave up and kind of got sloppy, or they didn't finish it. And so the message here is don't give up. Keep working on stuff. This is the time when the true work goes into it, where the artistry goes into it. And so you want to keep building. There could be a crowning achievement coming through, which is kind of like building up to the crown chakra. There could be something where it's just basically about stretching or moving or building in places that people haven't before. So again, try not to repeat history. Try not to do the predictable. Try to reach into something that has been undiscovered, right? By the way, if anybody has a frozen screen or something, just refresh. I think everybody else is doing all right. All right, ultimately, this is about healing, and it's going to help you avoid things in the long run here. So the final thing that I noticed in dreams and in meditations was this sort of energy of, it felt like some of you had some inner child healing to do, or possibly some displaced anger. And it's so interesting because I'm sure you've seen this before, but sometimes you just get into an argument and you don't understand why. It just happens, right? So what happens oftentimes with that is that we are dealing with grief, with anger, with frustration, with our own sort of inner turmoil. And it comes out in a weird way, like someone just says a random thing to you where there's really not an intention of maybe malice. Maybe they weren't being super considerate, but it wasn't what it felt like. So what I saw for some of you, and it's probably kind of just a small percentage, is to just work on healing yourself. And that's been a common thread. This was more specific though, because it's going to come out in a conversation or disagreement, and you just don't have time for that right now. Okay. And so take care of yourself. And this building up of your own strength is going to be, again, what allows you to be stronger and go back into that energy of strength that we talked about earlier. Okay, quick review, and then we'll get into the 7-day forecast. So the whole special topic that you chose for me today is about seeing something that isn't obvious, hidden potential. And we're going to dig a lot deeper into that particular message when we do the special topics. So I'll leave that for now. What I was picking up on as I looked at the energy of the diamond is being graceful under pressure, under fire, under circumstances that other people may not otherwise shine. You can shine. And that's something to think about this week. When you're about ready to blow your top or give up or whatever, just think, no, I can actually come out of this looking better if I just push through. The whole sort of cyclical thing, we're in a retrograde cycle. So this quote that I pulled from my own writing basically is that you have a chance to let go of something and be a little bit stronger. And again, it's all about building yourself up and building up this particular period of time. And you are not a one-trick pony. You have a lot of different iterations. You have a lot of different skills, and you can come back in a different way. And that's really why the transformation and star messages are coming as well. Don't stop. Don't give up. Take a break if you need to, but then regroup and get back to work. Because it's not about the first to the finish line. It's about the best work and the most consistent work. And if you are consistently putting your best effort forward, someone else that may give 100% but then give up they're going to miss out. Someone that just gives up altogether, or someone that's sloppy and gets to the finish line first, but it's not good. You're going to be okay. So slow, steady, consistent, and great. That's really what you want to focus on. All right. And then throughout this whole process, the most important thing is taking care of your heart, taking care of your health, taking care of your mental health as well, making sure that all of this mind, body, and spirit is as strong as it possibly can be, so you can be the best version of yourself. Okay? Welcome, everybody. If you just joined, please give me a like and subscribe if you enjoy this. We are currently looking at the channeled messages, and we're going to move into the 7-day forecast next. You have a chance to vote on the deck that I'm going to use for the main topic. I'll show those different decks later. But for now, I'm just going to randomly choose some for the 7-day forecast. So let's see here. I feel like it's been a while since I've used the Wild Unknown. So let's go ahead and use that for this and get started. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see you here, by the way. I hope that your weekend has been going well, and we're here together to make sure that the week is also great. All right, so we'll pull one for today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I definitely associate this with the diamond energy for the reasons I mentioned before. And then next weekend. I missed this deck. It's good. I haven't used it in a while. All right, let me take a quick drink and we're going to break down the week ahead. Okay, let's take a look at today. Beautiful energy here. It's the 9 of Swords. And a lot of times people will say, you know, wait, well, actually the 9 is fine. It's the 10 that has a hidden one. The 10 one actually has like a star and a star. So with the 9 of Swords, I'm sorry, with the 9 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles is showing that you're protected in this path. The normal 9 of Pentacles is so radically different from this. You would see basically, I'm going to pull it up because, you know, I like a good comparison. You see the snail, which is saying slow and steady, which is what I talked about. You also see the energy of self-sufficiency. There's a woman taking care of herself, basically surrounded by the fruits of her own hard work and labor. So here's your traditional card. So we can see her basically harvesting and kind of getting all that great work that she's done. So this is like grapes on a vine, and she's ready to take those and make some wine. And she's also listening to her higher self there, and she's very comfortable. I like all of these energies here. So feel a sense like whatever you've worked on in this moment in time, you're protected, you're guided, and you have all of that capability to basically be self-sustaining in this moment. So do something that makes you feel productive, makes you feel comfortable. It's almost like a nest there, and also something that you're guided to do today. What you're basically also doing this week is setting the intention and setting the idea that I can do all of this and then some. I've worked really hard to get to this moment in time, and now is the moment to really kind of like, again, take that low-hanging fruit and do something amazing with it. All right? The main thing to do is stay grounded, I would say, because this is an earth energy. So really ground yourself and do something for yourself. Again, it's an independent card. She's not focused so much on what others are thinking. She is taking care of herself. So today would be a good day for self-care and a good day to really prioritize doing something to get Monday off to a great start. For those of you that happen to be watching in another part of the world where it's already Monday, I would say we can combine these two energies here for Sunday and Monday, where you basically just want to make sure that you start off on solid ground before you start to commit, because no matter how we look at this, even if we're looking at Monday here, we have the 2 of Pentacles, and the 2 of Pentacles is typically a card of balance. This butterfly's flying in the wrong direction. We want to sort of get things going in the right trajectory, and a lot of times what's necessary is just to let something go and focus on one thing. So if you're watching this and it's Sunday and you have a chance to do it, you can actually set that into motion today, saying, I'm going to finish up this, I'm going to spend some time grounding myself and my energy, and then I'm going to focus tomorrow on just one thing. So today could just be a self-care and a catch-up day, and then by the time you get to Monday, you're just dealing with the ace. I usually look at the Two of Pentacles not so much as a money card and more as I need to find my footing. I need to find work-life balance. I need to find a proper sort of boundary so that people aren't constantly pushing me to do so much. It's basically making a choice. And unlike the Six of Pentacles, where you can still get a little bit of what you want and there's some flexibility here, you really have to make a choice. Say yes to this, no to that. And that's the main thing. I'm going to show you the traditional card on this one as well. So you can see the balancing act that's going on here. So you'll see he doesn't have steady footing. So for many of you where you're feeling like, I'm not sure, this is a day where you want to pull back a little bit. It's not a great day to have a meeting or a difficult conversation. You really want to decide, where do I stand? What's important to me? And if you are communicating, you're saying, I can do this, but I need help with this. Or simply saying no, because I feel like a firm no can be really important to just showing your strength, which was something that we talked about. So creating boundaries, finding balance, also finding your focus. That's really what Monday is going to be about. As we move on to Tuesday and Wednesday, it gets a lot easier, a lot more social too. So if you are looking for days where you can meet up with people, these two are fantastic. A little bit better on Wednesday, but when we look at Tuesday, we have the Ace of Cups in reverse. What's happening here is people are very open and they respond to your energy, but you may not be ready for the interactions. Whenever a cup's upside down, whether it's an ace or any of the court cards or any of even the minor arcana, it's basically saying, I need to get rid of my own sort of drama first, and I need to let go of maybe some of the emotional stuff that I've been holding on to before I can let someone else put their energy in the mix. I'm not ready to receive. I'm not receptive. Again, it's ironic because people are looking at you and they want to connect with you, but you probably, if you have to have a meeting, do it in the afternoon, spend the morning clearing out your head, your heart, and your sort of like schedule so that when you have that connection, you're fully present. That's the main thing. I mean, we can't avoid meetings, but also if something's coming through, remember I talked about that, the 10 of Swords that could be floating in the background. You want to make sure that if there is something, frustration, anger, or anxiety that's building up, that you don't sort of channel it on the closest person to you. Take a moment, take a breath, and just think, wait, I'm feeling triggered, give me a second, and then reconnect. There could be an unexpected sort of invitation that's coming through. This could be someone who wants to connect with you, someone that sees your potential, someone that's interested in you. If it's not reciprocated, remember what I talked about on Monday, a simple no or thank you but no is going to go a long way. Free them and free yourself from getting entangled in something that just isn't the right use of time and energy. Wednesday's a sweet spot. I mean, today is great, but then I see another sort of high point here on Wednesday. This is a good card for having a meeting. So for those of you that do work, we love a Three of Cups. This is a good day for a client meeting. If you're trying to date, this is a good day to meet, someone that you're just starting to see. For those of you that are partnered up, this is a good card as well. It's saying, I'm going to spend time with my significant other or my family, and we're just going to have some fun. We're not going to worry. We're not going to structure it. It doesn't have to be so planned. This is a very carefree card at its core. It's also saying celebrate the little victories. Again, taking it to, it doesn't matter if you're in an office or if you're a parent and your child did something great or something, or again, if you're going to celebrate your partner's success, you basically just want to say, hey, look at what we've done. This is great. Job well done. Gold star. We need them even as adults, right? So give your partner a gold star. Tell someone in your life that you appreciate them and have some fun. Wednesday's a good day to be with people and enjoy and just let the heart open up, okay? You earned it. The only thing you want to avoid, and it's nicely illustrated on this one, is gossip. I look at those little birds and I can hear them, weaving their tails about other birds out there. So Three of Cups can indicate sometimes gossip or hearsay. You always want to just make sure that you go to the source or get some validation on stuff. Sometimes, word of mouth is good. Sometimes you need to validate. Okay. This is the diamond moment for the week because I had connected this, I was like, yeah, let me highlight that quote that I talked about, the angel of death, talking about the diamond. Here we go. We have death reversed on Thursday. This is basically saying, I need to let something go, an end to stagnation, a big change. Death in and of itself is not a card to be feared. It's basically saying, here's the moment where you have to focus on changing perspective, changing direction, letting go of a dead end, because death reverse typically is stagnation. And then also saying, I'm not afraid to admit that this doesn't work, but maybe this does. This is the one day you don't want to give up. You just want to change your focus, or remember the way that a diamond is formed. It's carbon that's rearranged, pressurized, and heated. So you're taking something from what you've worked on and maybe reapplying it, repackaging it. You don't have to throw out everything. So there's opportunity to salvage something, and a bigger opportunity to approach something differently. So a change of direction without tossing everything. And a lot of times, this is why I don't miss kind of like traditional corporate work. Sometimes they would just scrap it all. You'd be like, we've been working for 3 or 4 months on this project, and it can't completely just be chalked up to nothing like that. So you don't want to throw everything away. See where you can kind of recycle, where you can reuse, how you can build up from something else. I was seeing that, I was shown that in dreams. So I feel like there's an opportunity to not panic, to just sort of rearrange. And that's the diamond energy connected with the death energy on Thursday. Something stops, something begins, a little bit of a rearrangement. The sky is not falling, okay? Looking at your energy of Friday, it's pretty good. This is hidden potential, really connected nicely to the special topic for today. The Hermit is a star in disguise. I mean, they're holding their lantern and there's always a star. So in this card, we see a turtle with the lantern on top. Now the card is reversed, which is saying for some of you, this is a moment where even if you don't want to, you may be asked, expected, or you may benefit from coming out and kind of getting out of your hermit shell. And a lot of times it's just a feeling of being safe and feeling safe. And so anything you can do to just sort of like ease yourself out there, it's going to be well received and well worth it. Let me see if there's anything else I want to talk about with the Hermit. This is a unique Hermit because he basically embodies a little bit of the Fool energy, because he has everything he needs right there. It's sort of like he carries the knapsack with him, because the shell is sort of like carrying your home with you. So some of you, what I would say here is take only the essential things that you need with you that day. Don't carry too much baggage, and don't feel like you have to carry everybody. Because in some cultures and mythologies, the turtle can also represent like a facet of the world. I get a little bit of like Atlas-like energy with this. So sometimes we feel we have to shoulder burdens or responsibilities of others. The fact that this is reversed is saying, let it go and focus instead on ideas, on inspiration, on being yourself, and following your intuition and your wisdom. The Hermit is one of the best cards for a teacher. So if you were looking, and it's basically saying you've got what you're looking for. But yeah, if you were pulling cards and thinking like, is this a good coach, or is this a good counselor? Is this a good teacher? We love the Hermit card. That's a wizard. They have deep knowledge. So you have deep knowledge too. You just have to lean into it. And that's basically the final piece that I want to talk about for Friday. Okay, let's take a look now at the upcoming weekend here. We have Empress card in reversed for Saturday. So for many of you, this is a reclamation of power. Someone could be coming in and trying to, they could be trying to steal your sort of thunder for a second. Sometimes there are people that just have a hard time seeing others shine. So in this moment, you just stand strong and say, no, this is what we're doing. Or you redirect and just say, we can talk about that in a moment, but let me finish this first. It could be a conversation where they're just interrupting, or something where they want to distract. So push back kindly and firmly on that kind of energy. If there's someone in your life that second guesses every move you make, also let them know that you've got it. Just say, thanks for your concern, but I'm good. And if I need your direction, I'll ask for you. I'll ask for that. And then as a leader, remember the same thing holds true. We can't change forcibly people to see things from a different perspective. All we can do is put it on the table, like the cards, and say, here's your choices. If you need some advice, I'm here. Otherwise, I trust you. or otherwise you're going to do what you're going to do. So this is basically about saving your energy in a position of leadership. It's about fighting for your power when it's important, if you're in a position where someone's challenging it. And it's also about taking care of yourself, because the Empress is the maternal card. So if I get Queen of Pentacles or if I get the Empress and she's reversed, either one of these is saying self-care. So almost a week from now, next Saturday, it's basically focusing on self-care and really the healing that I talked about at the end of my channeled messages earlier. All right, now let's move to next Sunday. The energy for Sunday is really about coming out of the dark. So this is a very cool Two of Swords card because it's basically showing the potential for you to come out of this sort of eclipse. And the eclipse is also this illusion that the light is gone. So when we're looking at what the eclipse may be or might constitute in your life, it could be someone that constantly takes the air out of the room. This was a real situation where I was working with a manager once, and the manager above us just had this capacity to come in and deflate situations. And I remember it happened once, and then I talked to the manager. I'm like, do you just feel like, she says, yeah, it happens all the time. Just this feeling of a balloon being deflated. And I thought, I don't want to do this very much longer. This is terrible. If that's like a boss's boss and they don't have your back, it's not a really good feeling. So sometimes it's people that just come in and just say, I don't have faith in you. It could also be someone that's maybe not intentionally so, but they're very burdened and they kind of put the burden on you. So what you're doing on next Sunday, a week from today, is removing yourself from that and getting a clearer vision of your own life. You're reclaiming your light, you're pushing that back a little bit, and then you can see the path in front of you. I feel like some of you are eclipsed because of an energy around you, a person or a work environment or some other sort of toxicity, and it's sort of like, let me pull myself back from that. And the illusion that I don't have strength or power goes away because that was just a big shadow. And that's really what an eclipse is. It's the moon coming in front of the sun, and you can only imagine maybe what the antiquity must have thought when this happened, before we understood the workings of the planets and everything. They probably thought that this was like the end of the world. So it's not as dire as you think. There is a clear path. You need to give it time, and you need perspective. And all of those things will help you. The Two of Swords basically represents sometimes two shades of gray. I could go this way, I could go that way, the two swords. Neither is maybe overly appealing. Neither is overly clear. You could take one of the swords and say, I need more information. You could take action. You could ask questions. You could understand perhaps that there's never going to be a clear-cut answer between the two, and you go with the one that you want. Something has to happen. You either need to seek out the clarity or just trust yourself and take action. You may also need to separate yourself from somebody that's creating shadows in your judgment. Okay? Let's look quickly one more time at the week for highlights and challenges, and then let's go into the next section. Okay, so as we're taking a look at this, today is just a really productive day. The Nine of Pentacles is fantastic. It's an independent day, and it's a day to really focus on self. You're protected in whatever it is you choose to do, so yay for that. On Monday, you really need to establish some grounding and some boundaries and make a choice. It's work-life balance or anything that takes you out of your strength. On Tuesday, I start to see your social calendar open up. The question is, are you ready for that? If you're not ready for that, you can push it to Wednesday, but you may have to take some meetings and some engagements. Just do it in the afternoon and focus on self-care meditation and just clearing out your energy in the morning. Wednesday's a sweet spot. So today's powerful, Wednesday's powerful. Good day for any type of social engagement. You're generally going to have a good experience, and so is the other person. There could be other people trying to butt in and kind of, we have that coming through both Wednesday and Saturday, but you're still in a sweet spot. The Three of Cups is generally a really good card, especially when it's upright. So I'm going to read it as such for Wednesday. Your turning point, this is a pivotal day to pay attention to things, is Thursday. There may be a temptation to toss everything. I actually feel like there's something that you can save in a project or anything in general. So try not to panic. If something isn't working, you can allow yourself to go where the energy is open. Death reverses stagnation, so step away from stagnation. If you didn't say yes on Tuesday or Wednesday, you're going to have to say yes to some sort of invitation on Friday. You're being asked to come out of your shell. You're going to also be pushed to trust your own intuition and wisdom. You have it. This is the card of wisdom. A tricky day is Sunday or Saturday rather, because people could be stepping in and trying to rain on your parade. You just have to stand firm and strong, and you might also just need to take care of yourself that day as well. And then we talked at great length about the Two of Swords. Clear out the shadows in your life. Focus on a path that feels best to you. Ask questions if you need it. Ultimately, you're going to see the light of day by the end of the day. Something beautiful is going to kind of open up, and you'll be able to know which path to take. Okay. So let's go ahead now, and let me just arrange these really quickly, and then we're going to take a look now at the blessings and blocks, I believe, are next. Okay. So if you just joined, good timing. We are still, I'm sorry, I'm not doing channel messages. We just did the 7-day forecast. We're going to take a look at blessings and blocks next. Blessings and blocks are just what they sound like, a chance to take a look at something that's going to build up the week and something that could present a challenge. All right, let's use Glastonbury Tarot for this and see what's coming through. For people that are asking about, like, someone's asking about iPad, use the mobile browser. Go to the mobile browser, not the app, if you're having some issues, and just view it on the website. All right. I'm not a tech person, not now. I'm focusing on this, so I'll let my moderator and the team help with any sort of issues. Let's really just focus on the questions here. You can always support this on replay, by the way. There's always a thanks button there. All right. Blessings and blocks. Your blessing is the world and the phoenix. What a beautiful energy, because we were talking about pressure and fire and rising up. All of that is in the phoenix. Your block is the Two of Wands, which is something that we talked about earlier. It's believing yourself, but we'll get into that in a second. Okay. Your blessing card this week is the phoenix. Beautiful energy. We see the phoenix rising up from the ashes, or rising up from that egg. And basically this is saying just about the time you think something's through or over, something else comes through. And I can think back a couple times maybe in my professional career where, like, there was a job that I was unhappy in, it ended, and within a week, and because of a connection that I had with someone else, a new one opened up. Or sometimes you just think, nothing's going to work out, and you just sort of like are ready to give up, but then someone reaches out or the opportunity presents itself. The key thing here is not to give up. It's to keep looking and to stay sort of hopeful, optimistic, and show your strength. Let's just talk about the world minus the phoenix. The world card is saying that in order for something to shift, to grow, or to move, you might actually need to change location, because this can be about travel. It can be about moving. It's also about expansion. So this stagnation energy that was coming in around Thursday could be because something has been put in, shoehorned into something that doesn't fit. So for any of you that have ever been to not that many of us shop at shoe stores anymore, but I remember as a kid because I have very wide feet, like quad E, and it's like 9.5 quad E. So it's hard. I actually have to usually just buy them online, unless I get a special brand, which I have right now. So, but I remember people would just say, "Oh, get a half size up." They would try to, or they would just try to make you fit into a narrow shoe. And you knew at the store, they're like, "Oh, that'll stretch. It's leather or it's canvas or whatever." If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. So you need something bigger. Just like particular types of plants, they're going to need a bigger pot as they start to grow. Same thing for you. Is your environment, is whatever it is that's containing your energy right now ample? And if not, then it's time to expand. So it could just be as simple as that. Does the relationship, job, or environment support you in the way that it needs to? Or are you being shoehorned into something that isn't going to fit? Don't say yes at the beginning if you already know that it's going nowhere. We've all said yes to a second date. We've all signed a contract for a job or an apartment, and we know we have concerns. Over time, they're just going to reveal themselves and exacerbate. So make sure that when you sign the contract, say yes, or continue to kind of show up in that space, that it's right for you. A very different version of the world, but that's what I'm getting when I look at this, in part because of the Phoenix. And something better will come through in the long run, okay? Your block. And that's the good news, by the way. The Phoenix, you can't knock it down. So something will work out. It may not be as you expected, but it will work out. And a lot of it hinges on you saying, this fits or this doesn't fit for me. All right, taking a look at the block. It's basically, do I believe in myself? Do you believe in your vision? And this Two of Wands is a test to that. And it's basically saying, does this direction feel right? And you remember I showed that earlier as one of the channeled messages. And I said, what's cool about that is it combines a couple of elements, the fire with the earth, because usually you see them holding the globe. So the main thing here is to continue to think, this is what I want. This is where I'm at. Does this, where I'm at, support that vision, or am I spinning wheels? He's missing the globe. I mean, his feet are on the ground, but we want to see that comparison to where you're headed. And I'll highlight it one more time in the slide, because I don't need to find the card since I had it here. So if I pull the slide up one more time, here we go. This is your traditional Two of Wands. It's basically what we kicked things off today with, which is seeing the hidden potential. So you may see it before other people, and they may come through and they might say, I don't see what you see. I don't believe in you. Are you sure you can do this? And then you're going to hold firm to that and say, yeah, I'm sure I can do this. And it's your loss. At some point, it's the other person's loss if they can't see or believe or trust what you can see. And that's what makes you a visionary, okay? So let's now go to the next portion here. I usually save the viewers and readers' choice until later, so we're going to move on to the elements next. I'm going to use the same deck because I like this. We're going to look at fire, earth, air, and water. This is the only portion of today's reading that is going to be specific to any sort of signs. The rest of it is for everyone present. You just kind of like my one card pulls are the same way. If you want your specific messages for the month, you can go to the main channel. But for now, stick around because there's some good stuff to come through. Okay, let's take a look now at all of the elements. Fire, earth, air, and water. By the way, I'm using Glastonbury Tarot. Some of you ask which, like, you've never seen this deck. I don't use it as much, and it's actually like an out of print one. So I'm highlighting it here so that if I show it like next weekend or something, you'll know when I give you a chance to vote on it. Okay, let's get started. We're going to begin with fire signs. Fire signs, you're in a good place. So Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, we have the Three of Wands. Couldn't ask for a better card for the next 7 days. This is basically saying, that you are already on the path. We see that third wand behind him. One thing that's always cool with Three of Wands is things are happening faster than you think, but sometimes you're looking in the wrong direction. So he could be looking in the wrong direction. He could have laid that staff down and said, maybe sometimes these are like starts, like little baby trees. So he could be planting things and saying, I can see this, I want this to happen, and I'm kind of laying claim to this opportunity or this vision. So know this, if you're trying to do something, not only is it possible, but something's already helping to open up that synchronicity. This features an additional message on it, which is saying the honesty is so important. The day to really focus on the honesty is tomorrow, folks, is Monday, where you have that sort of opportunity to say this works or this doesn't work, or I want to do this, but not that. That's when you create the balance. So Monday in particular helps you put those sort of wands in the ground so things can grow and you can focus on what matters the most. Three of Wands is your ship's coming in the traditional card, and it's basically saying throughout this 7 days, you should start to see each day an indication of right or wrong way. Pay attention to it. Are you getting green light or red light? And then focus your intentions accordingly. Remembering again, sometimes the red light, rejection is protection. So if there's someone that just doesn't get you, focus on finding someone who does. It doesn't mean stop. It might mean wrong messenger, wrong door, try another door. That's kind of a unique way of looking at it this week. But I feel like you're in a great trajectory just stay focused and look in all directions, because ostensibly he's missing something right here behind him. But I love all of the brilliant green and yellow energy, heart and solar plexus and growth. Couldn't ask for anything better with that. That's a great week ahead for all of my fire signs. Moving from fire to earth. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, you're sitting pretty. This is an Arthurian deck, so we have the king showing up in this one here. So the Emperor card is basically saying this week, people are looking to you for direction, for a sense of confidence, and also to lead like Arthur would with integrity. So the previous card, we see some common themes in this deck. So we see honesty here. Now we have integrity. Arthur tends to be a good king or a good leader. So even if, or especially if people around you lack integrity, then you basically want to show up with more. We don't want to, sorry, there's a random hair on my glasses. You don't want to show up with less than what they are doing. You basically are going to lead the charge and lead by example. And also there's very entrepreneurial energy coming through in this period of time as well. So some of you may really be wanting to just sort of say, I need some time to do this for myself. I need some time to flesh this out and really see where I'm at on this. And you may even just want to go in your own direction. All of this is good. Independent thought and action, highly supported for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. All right. Love what I see on this particular card. And just remember that you're leading by example. And especially when you have poorer examples around you, you want to shine brighter and go higher and walk that high road. It's going to save you time and energy. Okay. The last thing here is just an opportunity to lead, even if there's a lot of people around you that don't know that you have that sort of facet to your own diamond. Just show your leadership potential as well. Okay, so that's for my earth signs. Let's move on to air, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. We also have a control card. These are actually all pretty good, I have to say, this week. We have the moon card here. It's a hidden control card because for many of us, like if you think of what the moon does, it pulls at the ocean tides. It also stabilizes the rotation so the earth doesn't wobble. It's a very important sort of piece to basically our planet just having a normal day and night and ocean tide sort of schedule. So the moon is behind the scenes. So some of you have this potential to have hidden power, unseen power. You could be in a position of administrative assistant. You could be a helper. You could just be someone who doesn't like the spotlight, but the light's still shining on you. Because a moon, even in the dark, it's shining. The light is shining. So don't hide from the spotlight. Show your strength, show your ability, and show your power. The moon is a very powerful card in all of those respects. You may also be seeing things that need to be fixed. The traditional card, you would see the wolf and the dog. You would see water in between them and a little lobster coming out. The lobster or the water itself can represent hidden depths, things that only you can see or things that people are ignoring. So if you need to call attention to something, raise your hand and say, I know other people are thinking this. I'm going to say it, put it out there, get that question addressed, or just say, before I move forward, I need to understand this. That's just a general good thing across the board before you, again, sign a contract, agree to something, go in for surgery, buy a house, whatever. You want to make sure you know the fine print. What am I agreeing to again here? Especially because we're still in a Mercury retrograde until around the 18th. And even then we have a shadow until almost till the end of this month. So throughout January, be discerning, be inquisitive, ask the questions, shine the light. Because even if you don't think you're a source of light and inspiration, you are, the moon is. It may not always be, even if it doesn't emanate its own light, it's attracting light. So in this moment, you're shining. Whether you feel like you're that star or not, you are still shining and the spotlight's on you, and you can do something with this moment. So hidden power is basically what's coming through for Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. You may also be feeling the remnants of the wolf moon more intensely, I should say, than other signs. Listen to my mini read on the full moon. It's on my main channel. It's only about 20 minutes. 25 minutes or something. And it can give you the highlights to focus on. And even if you just go to the portion where we talk about the moon, that'll be the key. Okay, let's move from my air signs to water, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Power. another common theme here. We have the Queen of, well, actually, I think the Maid. Let me look in this deck. This is the Princess, because, yes, I just have to, here's one of my my pet peeves with people that rename stuff. I'm like, can we just keep it King, Queen, etc.? Yeah, okay, so this is the Page. I wanted to make sure. All right. So the Maid of Staffs, because it could have gone either way. Maid of Staffs is the Page of Wands. So the Page of Wands is basically the receptor. It's saying, I'm open to messages and ideas. Here's what's going on this week. You are focusing on, does this feel right for me? Can I do something with this? Does this light my fire? We can see this beautiful, brilliant flame all around this page. So you're going to be discerning. If it doesn't light your fire, like that old Door song, don't do it. Why are you doing it? If you can add something to something as well, and you feel inspired to do that, then go down that direction. This is firmly asking, are you inspired? Are you intrigued? Do you want to do this? Are you open? If you aren't, ask yourself why and find something that does inspire you. It's good to stay firm and strong to your vision. Again, pages are often underrepresented, misunderstood, and just because they're the lowest of the court cards, they're still in the court. They're basically the point person. So you may find yourself between two powerful people or at the sort of nexus of something big that's happening, and that doesn't make you any less important. You're that strong link that they need to make this happen. So be the link, be the spark plug, be the sort of catalytic moment here. And if it feels right, do it. And if it doesn't, focus on something else. It's really a call to action or a call to change of direction, which again, I think for many of you is going to come in focus on Thursday. Okay? So what I like about these as I'm looking at all of the cards for the elements is they're all power cards. We didn't get any quote unquote, negative or shadow or darker energies here. It's all good. So we have seeing what's there and taking action. So very actionable energy as we're looking at fire. For earth, a lot of leadership and leading by example. For air, you may find yourself in the spotlight and wonder why. Don't. It's because you're inspirational. Do something with it. You may see a problem that needs to be solved while others are ignoring it. Don't ignore it. Do something about it. That will also shine positively on you. And then as I looked at water, it was really about making sure that you feel connected to things, that you can add something, and vice versa, that something's adding something important to your life. Because if not, life is way too short to spin your wheels and not see any traction, okay? We're going to hold the viewers and readers' choice until the latter portion. I'm going to take a look at the special topic. While I'm doing that, I believe the poll is still up. So if you have a chance to vote, vote. And then I'm going to take a look and see which deck you chose for me. If I have a moment here and if the decks are handy, I'll show them to you as well. I think you know most of them. Let's see. So yeah, I'll show you real quick. Everybody knows light seers, but let's just pull these up because I have handy most of them here. Let me do this in the order here. Morgan Greer, Light Seers, Revelation, and I didn't take Green Witch out, but it's okay. All right, so here we go, folks. This is what we're looking at. So we have the Green Witch is the first one, and basically it's a unique approach on tarot. It's not a one-for-one Rider-Waite-Smith sort of retelling. It's very nature-based and very magical. This is Revelations. There's always two sides to every coin. They show both sides. Morgan Greer Morgan Greer is next. Morgan Greer is a deck from the 70s and has a kind of cool retro vibe to it, oftentimes reminding me of like a children's illustration from that period. And then I think this is the one that's going to win. This is Light Seers, which is a fantastic choice for today because it shows just beautiful energy. Basically, even the difficult cards here, they're really gorgeous, including, like, oddly enough, the Devil card and the Ten of Swords. Light Seers has some of the best ones for that. All right, let's see what you are choosing for me. Okay, we're going to end the poll. It's pretty close. Last chance. I think I saw a change in the 11th hour. No, it was very close. Light Seers won. For a moment, Revelations was close. I'll keep it close enough just in case we get to reader's choice or big idea, and I feel inspired, I'll pull that up. You can remind me at that point. Okay, let's get started, folks. This is the special topic for today, which again is the diamond in the rough. It's basically about seeing hidden potential. I think I put the title like, what are you missing? Okay, let's get started. And don't worry, I'll be continuing to use all of the decks that I've kind of reacquainted myself with now that I'm in a nice place and I'm not moving around. So we'll have a chance for all of those. And I think maybe even today or tomorrow I'll post something on the community tab asking for advice for new decks, because I'm ready to buy a few new ones. I was looking and I'm like, I think I've rotated even through some of the old ones now, so it's time to expand one or two. I've taken a few out of rotation just because I use them a lot. Okay, let's take a look, folks, at what's coming through here. Okay, so no surprise as I'm looking at the catalyst that the heart is coming through loud and clear. The heart is in reverse. The heart wants to heal. I mentioned earlier that one of the things that you really want to be paying attention to in this period of time is self-care, so that you don't have a Ten of Swords outburst. So let's turn it in the upright position, because we actually see a hidden Six of Swords at the center. Not a diamond, but what looks like a ruby, right? Atop of that. And then basically this sort of nesting energy. So I think a lot of us have built ourselves into this sort of cocoon or nest moment where everything feels safe, everything's predictable. It's almost like you're building a moat or a barrier around your heart to protect yourself. And so it serves a time and a purpose, and there's a time and a place for that, but it feels like it's time to kind of like open up. And that's really the first message that's coming through is you're stronger than you think, but maybe you need to just do a little bit of healing first. For those of you that are the universal mother, father figure for everyone in your life, whether or not you have a family or a partner, we can all take on that role, especially if you're a teacher or a healer or anybody in a support role. It's saying, okay, let yourself go a little bit, let it all out, and then focus on opening up, because sometimes we're just afraid of being hurt again, or being vulnerable, or being rejected. And once the heart strengthens a bit, then you attract things that recognize the strength and the value. I do, the cards do. You have to recognize it as well. And we can all work just a little bit on seeing ourselves as beautiful. Like if you look in the mirror, try to just do me a favor today and think something positive about yourself. It's the antithesis of what happens with social media now. But just sort of walk past the mirror and think, at the very least, just say, you got through the day. You got through a lot. Thank you, body and mind and spirit, for being the vehicle that got me through today. It wasn't easy, but I got through it. Even if it's that, don't judge your body. Don't judge your actions. Just thank yourself for getting through the day. And then set the intention the next day. Say, we're going to be stronger today than we were yesterday. We're going to find more opportunities to laugh. There's actually this cool scene in, I'm trying to remember the name of the movie, Last Holiday, Queen Latifah. She thinks she's dying. I'll leave it to the movie if you find out. But basically, there's this scene where she's looking in the mirror, getting ready for a party. And she's kind of doing this pep talk She's like, next time we're going to really live it. We're really going to do it. I liked it a lot. You can do that pep talk every day. You don't have to have this sort of feeling like you're going to die. It's just sort of like, we are going to do better tomorrow. We did great today. And let's go and have a great evening. And I like that energy. And that's kind of what I'm getting with this heart card, is just be kind to yourself. It starts there. If you can do that, others will return it in kind. Okay, let's look at the cards now. Center card, this one comes up a lot whenever I use this deck. So the Ace of Swords in reverse is basically saying, I'm not going to think myself or kind of work myself into this rabbit hole of worry. And what we see here, this is the whole message from Spirit last night. Build up. So the spiral staircase can go up towards ascension and inspiration. And but it can also go downward and spiral into fear, anxiety, or a lack of action, inaction. So everything that I just talked about with looking in the mirror and thinking affirmative thoughts, that's what this is about. It's not glossing over what didn't work. She actually addresses that in the movie. She says, we're not going to let people bother us as much next lifetime. We're not going to work so hard and not have fun. We're going to do this, this, and this. So you can be critical, but then you can jump on and say, but this is what we're going to do tomorrow. And this is how we're going to do it. And thank you for the lessons. I don't need them anymore. You can do that in a retrograde, and you can dismiss these lessons like old classes and students that you don't need to see anymore. So let them go. For the next week or two, actually, you can do this. So this takes you still through the retrograde, and it's going to be important. So say goodbye to the lessons you don't need when you're looking in the mirror, and say hello to a stronger and better you. And be open to not being so critical. Stay constructive. Okay? Ten of Wands. Moving on. This is one of my favorite Ten of Wands card because it's telling me that for many of you, even if you haven't understood how or why you had to go through certain things in your life, the good news is I see you at the top of the mountain, which means the next phase should be a little bit easier. And that doesn't mean that it's downhill. It means that there's going to be less energy and effort going into completion or end of cycle. Ten of Wands is graduation. This is one of the best Ten of Wands. The traditional one, which I'll pull up just to compare and contrast, typically shows someone who is feeling burdened, feeling like, how am I going to do this? The Five of Wands show it. The Ten of Wands shows it. But the Ten of Wands is basically saying, don't give up now, folks. You're really close to completion. What you could do today, if you're looking at this and feeling that energy, is just delegate, ask for help, take a deep breath. But again, there is a common theme this week not to give up. You've come so far, and that's what this is showing. So here's your typical Ten of Wands. Very Atlas type energy. Remember when I was using the deck for the 7 days, there was the tortoise that basically, or the turtle that had, he was reversed, and I was saying he's got too much that he's carrying, too much energy, too much emotion, pressure, responsibilities. This one very much shows that. Whereas, and I can relate to these cards a lot, this person has delegated. So we see, what is it, a bull or something that's helping her carry this burden. She doesn't have to do it alone. She has friends there. So this would be the difference between the two moves, the move where I injured myself and the subsequent moves where I didn't have any injuries. And it was basically like, why am I hiring people if and then I'm like carrying all this stuff and twisting and then breaking a foot? It's silly. So you don't have to carry the weight of the world. Delegate. It's going to be very, very key to your happiness. You're going to be able to do more and sustain more. And you're going to have more to give at the end of the day. Okay. So you're close to completion. Don't go overboard. Ask for help if you need to. That's actually a sign of strength as well. Okay. Let's take a look here at the combination of the two. This is basically speaking up, asking for help. This is also not being too critical as you're completing something. We can always do better. That's why we're in this incarnation. Just finish the task at hand and don't get in your head too much. This, I also featured, was about healing, and it's about healing the wounds of the past. So the card is reversed, but I want to pull it upright. It's the best version of the Five of Pentacles for this particular message, which is, you have the key to success and healing. It's right there. It's always been there. You just have to take the key and open the door. When we lose someone, when we look back and think something was taken, something was stolen, it wasn't really like confidence can be sort of diminished, but you can always reclaim the confidence. And maybe someone wasn't there the way you needed to be there, but just as we've been talking about today, it's built character and strength that wouldn't have been there otherwise. You're stronger than other people because of the rejection, because of the pitfalls, because of the things that were out of your control. So you're going to basically rely on yourself. Self-reliance. We saw it. That's the card for today. The Nine of Pentacles was about relying on yourself. Here's your traditional one, looking to someone for support. But the thing is, and I don't think I've really talked about this in this card before, but it's coming through now. This is the injured asking the injured for help. And that's why it's not working. So someone couldn't be there for you because they were already injured and hurting themselves. So all you have to do in this period of time is heal. And then take the key, open the door, better days await, okay? And better horizons as well. It's okay to feel pain. Some of you need that permission, like, because we've got toxic versions of masculinity and femininity for that matter. So to show a moment of vulnerability is not the same as weakness. To cry does not equate weakness. And to be weak in a moment doesn't mean that you're ultimately weak. Just recognize where you need work, ask for that help, and ask someone who isn't wounded for the help. And that's the one thing that I know I've never talked about that. So you need to kind of seek out a better support person or teacher or someone in your life that is strong enough to say, yeah, I can help. And this is what we're going to do. Someone was incapable. They lacked the capacity. They lacked the faculty to assist you. But that's not representative of yourself. Or your lack of anything. It's just basically, unfortunately, someone couldn't help the way they needed to, okay? So reclaim the key, open the door, and look at what the universe has in store for you, okay? As a card about general health, this is also about making sure that you're balanced in your life, but particularly what happened, and I'm even feeling it because of the rain in Los Angeles. I got to get a chiropractic adjustment, but my knee is a little bit off, and it's also the knee with the foot where I had the cast and all that stuff, so I need to get an adjustment. So you could be feeling it like I am in a knee. It could be knee, ankle, foot, hips, anything in the lower extremities. The traditional card basically shows it quite well. You see the cast and the crutches. So having trouble moving forward. And then emotionally, it's the same sort of figurative moving on. So get the support you need, get the cast, the support, and it will improve from there. Okay, as we look at recent past, this is your time to basically take the bull by the horns. We saw the bull at the center here. But this is saying, I want this. The page is speaking up in this card. This is what I need. This is what I want. This is important for me. As I pull the mic right towards me. And it went right into my heart. My heart space. Hopefully it was muffled. But what I would say with this is the other important piece for this is not to feel like it's asking too much. If you are constantly giving and giving and giving, then it's okay to say, this is what I need in this moment. Again, it's about boundaries. It's about setting expectations for others so that they can show up successfully. And when you ask, oftentimes you receive. If you don't ask, you're guaranteed that it's either going to be a delay or a happy surprise or not happen at all. But if you ask, you've put it out there in the universe, I see my worth. Do you see it? And they're making a point where it's not even that. It's just saying, I need this. Let's do this. The more affirmative without being bossy that you can be, the more likely you are to be able to get what's necessary. So this Page of Pentacles is saying, I require this for this. And that's really all it is. Ground yourself, focus on footing. Again, we're seeing a lot of cards where people's footing is off a little bit. So just a general note there. All right. What we've moved through right now is basically the first 4 cards. Now we're looking at the crowning card. I'm happy with the crowning card. We have the Queen of Pentacles sitting pretty, literally. Beautiful character and really calm energy. This is kind of the Arthurian lead by example that I was hoping to see when we were pulling cards. She's cool, calm, collected. She's introspective too. And she may even be listening to something and thinking, what do I think about that? She's not going immediately to reaction. And I like that in a leader, and I like that in general. So someone could say something critical, and she's thinking, does it have merit? Am I am I feeling sort of like this flush of emotion? What am I going to do about it? Very grounded, very introspective, thinking before acting. This is the key to success. This is maybe what you haven't been doing enough. Also, as a hidden piece, this is a big old diamond card at the top here. So we're looking at it's the penultimate earth card here, because the king would be the ultimate. So we see the potential, and all you have to really do is sit there and say, yes, I'm worth it. And I really do feel like she's got that I'm worth it vibe going on. So if you can believe in your worth, it's hard because of the way this is arranged. She's achieved it here, but in the past, it hasn't always been there. She had to ask for something here. She had to also delegate a little bit here and overcome critical thoughts. Once she was able to do that, she had more than enough. And we do go from 5 to 6 of Pentacles. She's the key figure to that, her and the Page of Pentacles. Asking and then waiting a little bit before taking the next step. Very grounded, very mindful energy coming through in this period of time. So close your eyes, breathe, and think before acting. Really important. Now what we finally see is the foil to this one. So they're both reversed, but let's just look at them upright. Wondering, am I worth it? Can I do it? Will it happen? Now seeing, yes, I can do it, but I'm going to have to figure out what needs to be pushed to the side. Priorities. Always priorities. A little give, a little take. And that's really what this Six of Pentacles shows nicely. It's also a balance card. There are like 3 cards that would show balance. The Two of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, and then Justice. Those are the obvious ones. Temperance shows a little bit too. But you've got one coming through there. And I mentioned as we were looking at these illustrations, this is about the feet and legs. This is about the way this is illustrated, feet and legs. So a couple things about getting your footing, and then literally a balance card. With the Six of Pentacles, it is a good news card, but it is also a be smart sort of card. So here's the message here with this. You can have most of what you want, but not necessarily all at once, not necessarily in the time that you want it. You have to sort of make some, basically find a middle ground. So here's what you normally need to look at with the Six of Pentacles. Maybe something is too aggressive on a timeline, so you can delay it. Maybe if you can get additional money or support, you can make it happen. Or maybe you're just going to let go of some of what you wanted so you can do what you're focusing on better. It's time or money or support. One of those has to flex out. And so you're going to do it over time. It's easier when this is like a project at work, but in life, we might have to make a quick call. Like you're looking at a couple of places that you want to live. You can't have everything you want. You're going to Six of Pentacles it. So maybe there's a place where you're thinking like, well, I could get that. I could knock the wall down. We could open this up. Okay, I can't have everything that I want, but I can eventually get it. I'll save money. I'll do the home improvement. That's an example where you're seeing the potential, diamond in the rough, but you can't get it all at the purchase point. So some things you're going to add on to later. And you can see that as long as it has the ability for the renovation or add-on. So as you develop whatever it is you're developing, it could be a curriculum. Like if you're looking for for yourself, like I'm going to do this degree, but maybe I can get a minor or specialize in this. Where can you modify? Where can you add on? Always look for the modification potential. And then the Six of Pentacles becomes very powerful. It's like a Swiss Army knife. You can do a lot with it. Okay? Okay. The Hermit coming through again, connecting us very much to the energy of, what was that, Friday? But this is how you're showing up right now. This Hermit's pretty cool because she doesn't need her lantern. She's already embodying the power of the star. So her lantern is here, and she walked up this path, and you can see like all these little specks of light or fireflies around her. And now she's basically saying, I can do this. So the Hermit was reversed when I read, but it's upright in this spread. So it sees your potential and it's saying, just go for it. Many of you are kind of though pulled in 2 directions. You have a moment or an opportunity that requires more visibility, more accountability, more people, more activity maybe than you want. And there's this hermiting energy where you're like, I just kind of like hanging out here. Do I have to do that? You don't have to, but there's an opportunity for growth if you do. And I think you have what it takes to make that happen. All right, let me take a drink of water. I'll just leave this here while you're doing that. And then we'll move on to what's going on in the environment. Okay, as we look at your environment, Again, with a lot of our cups cards today have been in the reverse state. Self-care is the main thing, but we're looking at this also as a figure or as a person or as as something that might be pulling at your energy. So the Queen of Cups in reverse, this could be your friend, your family member, or your peer, and they need a lot. This is someone that, to use today's terms, they would be extra. There'd be a lot. They'd be bringing a lot of baggage. And it starts off when you say, oh, hey, how you doing? And you regret asking that because, well, let me tell you about the weekend. This and then this. And you're like, I just wanted to say hello. So be careful on engagements on Monday in particular. I would say just sort of, hi. Don't maybe even, if you know that there's someone that has a tendency to push that or make it a walking meeting where you go and get a coffee and come back. I got to get to work. It was so good catching up. Put a boundary on it. You know who I'm talking about, and you know that it's not being rude to do that because they'll find someone else then to talk to next. You don't have the time this week to receive all of that. And you already have your own things that you're trying to manage. So you can always say this, I really want to be there for you. Why don't we talk later? I got some things to do this morning. And let's regroup at 4 o'clock or something. Let's get a final coffee for the day or something like that. Put it where you can listen and where it's not going to take you away. You don't want to spin the day in that direction. This could also be a parent who calls you and there's just a lot and you're like, I want to talk and I want to be there for you. Do you have time in 2 or 3 hours? Just push it. Do your stuff first. Take care of you first. And that's what this is about. Or simply, sometimes we just don't take the call when it comes in and you call later, okay? Basically just redirecting and focusing, and I think that's going to be important. Okay, let me see what else is here. This could also just be too much input, too much going on, and you're very sensitive. So there could be a lot going on around you, and you're like, I don't know what to focus on. I feel, because this is about feelings, I feel conflicted. I want to do that. I want to do this. The Queen of Pentacles takes you out of your feels and your feelings and says, what can we actually do something about today? So the Queen of Cups, she feels everything. She feels it a lot. The Queen of Pentacles says, I got you, but this is what we're going to do. So you have the two queens on your shoulders. Listen to the Queen of Pentacles. She's the mom giving you good advice. The Queen of Cups is just basically drama, and you can deal with it, and it's okay to feel emotions, but we're not going to let that constitute the energy for the whole week, okay? So we're going to listen to the Queen of Pentacles this week and figure out, what can I do something about? Is this real? Is this, again, if it's gossip or something, go to the source, make sure that you're hearing things correctly. I just see some drama in the environment, and it's not a big deal. It will pass, okay? As we look at what's going on in opportunities, again, with Wands, we've had the 2 and the 3 of Wands make a couple of appearances. So the 2 of Wands is showing the power of dreaming. And this is the more traditional 2 of Wands where we see the globe there. So the only thing that I want to see here is maybe a little less wistful dreaming and a little bit more action. So Spirit's coming through with a wink, a nod, and a little bit of a nudge. It's saying, yeah, you know what to do. And I know you know what to do. And I like what you want to do. What are you doing about it? So this is taking the idea and grounding it. Again, there's a little bit of both. So intentions are great. Possibilities are great. Ideas are great. But until action happens, they're just an idea. So I see tons of potential. I just want to help you this week, hopefully find a way to ground them. And that's the main message here. The thing that you're missing is what's the next thing. What are you doing to breathe life into it? All right, we have the Sun card here as the outcome, which is quite positive. It's time to let go. It's time to birth something. So, and it's upright. It's not overdue. It's like perfectly timed. I've said this before, even though we're in the midst of a retrograde, it's not bad if it's something that already has started or something you've been intending to do it now. So for instance, I'm continuing to unpack and I've been meaning to get some furniture. It's not a big deal. If I do any of that stuff right now, it's good because I've been in the process of it for the past, 6 to 8 weeks. So finish up things that didn't get finished, review things that you've already completed and you're thinking, can I do better? You can rebuild anything with an RE, review, revise, rebuild, anything, reapply. So if it's a second time around or if it's a new way of doing it, retrograde supports that. It's adjustment period, basically. If you start something brand spanking new, here's how you could maybe make it work with retrograde. Maybe you could look at your learnings, research first, and don't repeat something. Say, I did this before. Now I'm doing this, which has some of that energy. I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to revise my old pattern as I start something new, which is still embracing a little bit of retrograde, because guess what? Things have to happen sometimes during a retrograde. You can't control it. Sometimes you're going to give birth. Sometimes you have to move. Sometimes your job starts. Sometimes you got to buy new tires for your car. You can't stop and panic and Chicken Little the moment because of retrograde. So just be the Queen of Pentacles. We only have a week and a half or more or so to go. So be cool, be calm, be collected. Think, how can I do this and how can I do this better than I did it before? That's it. The Sun card is also charisma. So during this period of time, the next week or so, you're showing up as very charismatic. This is a playful card. It's one of the babies in tarot. So 6 of Cups, the Sun, the Fool, even on some levels. So this is a chance to have some fun, to be yourself, to be playful, and to engage with others. It's also very powerful, and it's not your typical stuffy leader card because it's a baby, but it's the Sun, and the Sun is, in our little solar system, the most powerful thing. It holds all of this together, even the Pluto and beyond. It's kind of crazy how much it, and even when it becomes a white dwarf, it can still hold most of this together. So you've got this. Even if you don't see it, you've got this. Okay, let's expand this, and then we'll get ready for the latter part of the reading. So we're going to expand first. We're going to take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, and specifically in these, tying it to the special topic. So what is it that you're missing, and how can you really shine? Okay, all right. Looking at the health card first, be spirit, prosperity. We like this. As I'm looking at each element here of health, wealth, love, and destiny, a reminder, I'm not a substitute for a financial advisor, a doctor, or a therapist. What I'm looking at here today is energy. And what I'm doing is empowering you to make the best decisions. But it always sits with you what you want to do. So I like to remind people of their free agency here. Okay, focusing on the be spirit. It's in reverse. So some of you may be feeling like I'm stuck and I can't. So both of these cards came through reverse. This is a feeling that because someone rejected me in the past, because it hurt, because it stung, that is how it's always going to be. Because the bee stings sometimes. But when we look at the positive energy of a bee, it's a pollinator. It's part of a larger group or collective, just like we all are today. And it's basically creating growth, even just by doing its day-to-day tasks. As it moves from flower to flower and collects the pollen and everything, it's also pollinating. And then it also creates products that we like honey and everything. It's just going about its business, and it's creating this abundance everywhere. So you, simply being you, are capable of helping a lot of people. You're more important than you realize. And also you're on a path of personal growth. It's not always obvious in the moment, but you're kind of knee deep in the pollen. But the thing that follows is the honey. So it's messy now, but then it's going to be sweet. And that's kind of what I can get from the bee. Don't let the mess take away from the sweet. Let's take a look at specific messages for health. I already highlighted a few. I think it's important to share the load emotionally, energetically, physically. Make sure that you're not trying to do everything. Really focus on your knees, your legs, your ankles, basically lower extremities coming through twice here. And then this is a balance card too, just making sure that all parts of your life are properly balanced. Work, life, exercise, diet, mental health, all of that for sure. Let me see what is next. Again, this is kind of interesting. This is about letting go or birthing. So I have good news for those of you that are trying to get pregnant. Like, this is a mother card and this is a baby, and they're right by each other. This is what you want. This is what's going on. This is a very positive card here. So I do feel like something is starting to get ready to, like you have a breakthrough that's coming through. So you just want to make sure that you stay grounded, that you stay focused on that. For some of you, this could be a baby. For the rest of us, it's just really about, I'm ready to let go and to step into my power. So I like that. Solar plexus, digestion, focus on that as well. Otherwise, I like what I see here, and there's not really any other messages that I need to focus on, aside from not letting other people's heavy drama pull you in, okay? You may be so busy that you've kind of lost track of yourself. This is very Eight of Wands energy, so being lost in the shuffle, so take time to slow down, all right? And that's that for health. Let's take a look at wealth. We have holy love. So for some of you, there could be this beautifully divine partnership that comes through, or beautiful divine partnership. And again, it's not always about romantic love. You could meet someone who just is like a sage sort of energy. So this could be a mentor, a teacher, or a therapist, someone that can kind of help you reclaim your key so that you can unlock your potential. You may also, when you're not looking for it, through something with work or your activities, for those of you that are retired, you might find a new friend or a new love interest just going about your business. So that's kind of cool. It could be inconvenient if it's a work romance, but I see it more as maybe like a friend of a friend or an event that you go to and you meet someone. So if you happen to be looking for love, that's something that's coming through. Now, bringing it back to just what this whole topic is, or not this whole topic, but this card is about, do you love what you're doing? Because that act of creation or co-creation, the holy love and the passion for the project or the approach or what you're doing for the world, that's what unlocks all the doors for you. That's what makes things happen. And I talked about that specifically, I think it was for water, wasn't it? I was saying, if you don't feel it, don't do it. So this is reiterating what we saw for that. Okay, let's look at this specifically for just everybody on resources and money and opportunities. I already talked at great length about these two. Actually, this all works together. So the illusion is you can't, or it won't happen. You can't do it, you can't have it, you're not worth it. It's an illusion. It's a critical thought that doesn't serve you. It's time to release it. You ask for something, you are patient. You might ask someone else for this too. You're going to look around and you're patient because you know your worth. You get a good percentage of what you're worth, maybe not everything at once, but it's a stepping stone. You're working towards Queen of Pentacles even if you achieve the page first, or even if you just move from the 5 to the 6. So I see you going in the right direction. Ask for a little bit more than you think you're worth. Ask for a little bit more of something, and you get a good chance of achieving that or what you deserved anyway, but no more less than. Don't give things away, don't overwork, don't accept less than your worth. Something's opening up on the horizon for you. It could be a little bit overwhelming or unexpected emotionally for you, but it's coming. So I see you on a path for, basically we're seeing more resources coming your way, more opportunities coming your way, and we see you coming out of your shell. This is the star hidden, and now we have the sun, which is a star, just basically bold and out there. So this is your chance to really be bolder, to ask for more, to get more, to heal the wounds of your past, maybe even family, ancestral sort of energy where people may have typically been getting less than they deserved. And now we see much more abundance coming through in the future, which I like. The one message here that I mentioned earlier, and it was a little bit of a nudge from the universe, is just, what are you doing about it? So we see great ideas and great potential, but there does need to be some action on that potential. And once that happens, some really good things are going to come through for you. Okay, that's pretty much everything here. If you want to do something on your own, the entrepreneurial energy is shining loud and clear. Again, we have a couple of heart-centric things here, the heart and holy love. So you either love it or you don't. And when you love it, things really start to open up for you. Okay, let's move on to relationships. Love and acceptance, hope. Let's see this a little bit closer here. Love is yours. Recognize your divine worth. Amen to that. Choose loving thoughts. It's basically what I talked about at the center, right? So instead of the Ace of Swords in reverse, it's the Ace of Swords upright. Affirmative thoughts, looking in the mirror like that movie that I mentioned. Looking in and loving and accepting who you are, celebrating the work that you're doing to continue to build upon that foundation that is you, and then recognizing worth. That's like the key. So if I had to look at one thing here that is the big sort of aha moment, is you're worth more than you think. And on multiple levels, in relationships, in jobs, and just in life in general. You're underestimating self-worth. So increase self-worth, net worth follows, and so do opportunities. And then people start to see you and your ideas as more valuable. Okay? So that is like the biggest aha that I can look at so far with what are you missing? What's the diamond in the rough? Well, you are. I mean, you kind of knew that, but it comes to how much you love and accept yourself. That's going to play out in relationships. There's 3 words here. The first is hope. Never let hope disappear. When I wrote the book that I wrote a few years ago, the missing piece was hope. There were like 7 luminous beings and 7 shadows, but there was one of the light beings that was lost, and it was hope. If we lose hope, it becomes very difficult to navigate. You always need to have hope and faith. Faith in yourself, hope in a better tomorrow, and then that gives you the power and strength to find a way to achieve what's here. Hope is the key that also kind of creates traction in the 2 of Wands. So what's missing for some of you is self-acceptance and love, and then hope and belief, hope and faith. I hope I can do this. I believe I can do this. I have faith that I can do this. Hope is a beginning. Hope is the spark, but then you need to follow through. So be hopeful, have faith, and take action. That's your like holy trinity there. All right, let's look at your relationships and see how this is panning out. So a few things that we want to look at here. I always look at those in love, looking for love, or single and happy. Let's take a look and see what's going on with that. All right, if you're in a loving relationship right now, we'll start with that and then we'll see if there's any challenges. If you're in a loving relationship, it actually is looking pretty good. It looks like the other partner, because it's showing up in the environment, the other partner is dealing with a lot. I talked about ways to cope with that. You can't take on everything. Just because you're the partner doesn't mean you're the therapist or the doctor. The same way I flash a disclaimer here, it kind of works the same way in a relationship. If your partner needs help with something, you can only do so much. It's like if your child needs help, if you have kids, there's only so much you can do. And at a certain point, you can't figure out their calculus. It's like, I don't know that. Or you can't write their English paper for them. You can support them. You can guide them. You can open up the resources for them. And you can raise your hand and say, I'm out of my expertise here, but I'll help you find the help you need. So I think that could be one thing you could do in loving relationships of any sort. And I mentioned all the different kinds, whether it's friend, partner, or child. You could just say, it's clear that you need support. I can't do it, but I can help support you. Let's see what's out there. That's all you need sometimes, is someone holding your hand or directing you. So you could be that for them, but you don't have to be the doctor. You don't have to be the teacher, and you don't have to be the therapist. That's too much to expect. If you're expecting that of your partner, it's too much. If they're expecting it of you, it's too much. That's not the agreement. It's to be there for each other, not to fix one another, but to be there and to support and to help direct. Try to be constructive in any critical conversations. It's give and take. Right now, it feels like one person's really good at receiving and one is really good at requesting. Balance out the sort of energy there. There's definitely inner child healing that is going on. Some of you have done more work than others, and that's the big opportunity for some relationships. What I like about the spread is this card, Hopes, Fears, and Opportunities. This is about planning a future together. This is saying we've been through some stuff. Sometimes it's not always been easy, but I see you as a part of my future. I want to do more. I see more. So talk about hopes and dreams together, make some plans for the future, and then help them in areas where they need help. And sometimes just be quiet and hold space. That's all they need. If you're in a situation where I'm not really seeing crisis, but let's say you're coming out of a relationship. So I don't typically look at it this way, but let's just say you've decided to move in another direction. I think it's going to be fine here. We see a rebirth energy. So even if you're in a relationship and looking to get out, it doesn't have to be acrimonious. It can be positive, and you can really kind of get through this in a good way. So that's basically what I'm seeing. A little bit of child healing, inner child healing, a little bit of reciprocity that needs to happen there, and understanding that you're not everything to your partner. They need to be self-sufficient, and there can also be someone else that provides those support services. So you're not basically being mother or father for the partner. One last note, and then I'll move on to those that are looking for love. Some of you are looking to expand your family, or you might be looking for what happens after the family. Like it's empty nest syndrome for some of you. So the child's gone and you're thinking, now what? So it's reacquainting yourself with the partner. It's basically seeing one another again. And that could be part of this too. And then really deciding if that's what you want. If you don't want a family, you don't want a family. If you do want one, say it. Important things to discuss. Okay. Clearing the energy, focusing on those seeking out love right now. The first thing that needs to happen is the dust needs to settle. We have the 10 of Wands. Some of you are moving, traveling, or just moved. And so the first thing here is to just basically give yourself time to figure out what's what. When that happens, we actually see a very prepared and ready Queen of Cups coming through. She needs and wants a lot though. She wants a relationship. She's serious. So, and I say she just generally speaking, because I don't read gender, they're serious. So are you ready for that? Because it feels like this person really wants to go all in. If you're not ready for that, then it's okay. Because you have two options this month if you're single and looking. I think the more important option is probably hermit energy first. Sort yourself out, sort your home and your finances out. This is house, home, finances, and really feel solid. Because then when you do this, you have a good chance of pulling this energy upright. And that's a lot more fun to deal with. Because then it's just playful and reciprocated, and it's not sort of as needy. So take care of yourself first, then you can elevate this Queen of Cups to the upright position. You have another option coming through, which is you could spend most of your time this month focusing on taking care of your health, because I definitely see some health improvements, balancing out your finances, letting the dust settle here. And then as you start to work on yourself, you pull basically a twin star because there's a star here, and then this is the sun. So we basically have the star and the sun. So this would be someone that is your age or younger. This would be someone with whom you might have had a past life, and the karma's clear. So I think it's better to take some time over the next week or 2 or 3 and just focus on you. And then maybe 2 or 3 weeks from now, you're calling in that sun energy, which is a lot more fun, I think. Okay. Single and happy, good for you. It's a good time to be single and happy. Lots of like leaps and bounds energetically when it comes to your finances. Lots of balance that you're starting to see coming through across the board. Surprising how much you can get when you ask for something. And I see like this big influx of ideas that are coming through. So take some time to ground them and set them into motion. At least one of those has a lot of potential. So it's an important time to work on projects, self, and also like anything in your life that you want to see an impact on. It's just, this is a fertile period, even though we're in retrograde. Lots of ideas, lots of plans, lots of seeds that can be planted, and a lot that can come from that. Okay, that's that for relationships. Let's take a look at your destiny card. We have base chakra, strength and security, laying foundations. The diamond is an earth symbol. It also connects to fire. It is this, it's inner earth, because you have to go beneath the surface of the planet to create diamonds. So in order to do this, in order to find your diamond potential, we have the base chakra, which we often overlook. So if we're looking at chakra number 1, it's asking you, do you feel safe and secure in what you're doing? What are you doing to plant your feet firmly on the ground? Do you have enough of what you need in order to build upon that, something that I was looking at? So safety, security, resources. Also, all of the energy, basically legs and below, taking care of that part. It's like the trunk and the roots of the tree need to be really strong in order to allow for all the growth above. So that's the most important thing here. Specifically, as we look at the lower caption there, it says strength and security, laying foundations. So Rome wasn't built in a day. It also didn't fall in a day. It took some time, but it fell faster than it took to build it. So it takes time to build something that matters and that is going to sustain itself. So don't rush. Take your time, put some TLC into that, and it's going to be worth it. All right, let's switch decks. I remembered. I'll use Revelations for this because it was the runner-up. And we're going to take a look at the big idea, and then we'll take a look at the viewers and readers' choice after that. All right, so the big idea is going to be one card that really ties us to the question, what am I missing and what can I do about it? I'm going to do two because it was a two-part sort of thing. So what are you missing? Eight of Pentacles. What can you do about what you're missing? The Devil reversed. Okay, very good. All right, so as we look at these two cards here, let's go wide here so you can see it. The Blessing. There's actually been a decent amount of work that's been done. And I mentioned that this is the time to kind of double down a little bit. I had the 3 and the 8 of Pentacles that I featured earlier. Let's just pull that slide up too, because I kind of talked about some of this already. All right, so here we go. So with this, I said crowning achievement or building up. So don't give up. That's really what is coming through right now, because it is a card of being busy, the 8 of Pentacles, and it gives way to the 3 of Pentacles. So looking at this, it's saying, I'm going to focus. I'm not going to sweat the small stuff, but I'm going to focus on the small stuff, the fine print, the little details. I'm going to learn as much as I can, and I'm going to put some extra final touches on that. I'm also going to really be present in the moment. So if I could go back and coach a younger version of myself back in like elementary, high school, college, and beyond, and like because I went to grad school as well, I would just say slow down, do what you want to do, don't rush through. Because both times I kind of graduated 6 months early, I would just say don't graduate early, just take your time, enjoy this. There's gonna be plenty of time later, to rush through things. So when it's important, soak it in and have a good time. And then I've done some traveling too. Really be present. Try the food, talk to the people, look at the sights and sounds. You're going to be so busy for the next 20 years or so, you're not going to remember how important this was. So in this moment in time, whether you have a baby or a cute little puppy, or you're going to meet some friends later, or you're about ready to graduate, really drink today and tomorrow and this moment in and capture that. Okay, that's part one. And what are you going to do about like this potential block if you have one? You have power, more power than you're giving yourself credit for. So the Devil in reverse is like, drats, how did you get the better of me? The upright Devil is sitting pretty. And he or she is looking down at all of this and thinking, I've got you. But here we see the tower in the background and the Devil is thinking, you slipped away. You got away from my grip. And that's because you've always had the power. You've always had the potential. You can always elevate the energy of the Devil to love, because the Lovers and the Devil are two sides of the same coin. The Devil just has a lot of constraints and strings attached. So when you see someone in your life that wants to tie you down or put these strings to whatever it is that you're trying to do, you just sort of take a step back and say, not if that's the only way. And you're also going to be like, these are the tools that also shun away the Devil. It's honesty, it's integrity, it's clarity and transparency, and it's authenticity. The Devil hates all of those things. So be honest, work with integrity, speak with integrity, be clear about your motives. Don't try and get something if you don't deserve it, and don't let other people do the same. Hold them to their own accountability. And if they don't want to do that, walk in the other direction. They'll find someone else to attack or attach to. So I actually really like how that Devil is like, how did you get away? Because you can almost laugh at that card. And honestly, the Devil is more of a representation of energy. And hell is also not something that you're damned to. I think the Devil and hell are energies that you can experience if you want, but you don't have to. They're temptations. They're choices. The Devil's more than willing to sort of like spend some time and energy on you, but you don't have to go there. And hell is not a place that, even if you you can always choose a path of redemption. The Judgment card shows that, okay? So this is just about redemption, a different choice, a different direction, and using all those tools that we just talked about to detach from those lower frequencies in your life. All right, there you go. All right, let's see what we can focus on here. We're going to quickly look at viewers and readers' choice, and then we'll get into the final part of the reading, which is a meditation and a final card. All right, I always like to look at the toughest energy. I kind of dealt with it. I don't have to worry about the devil now because we talked about that. So let me see what else I can help you find. Sometimes I like to look at the best because that's fun too. I want to look at love, not like love in the traditional sense, but like passion. What's the missing piece? What can you kind of connect to that's going to light your inner flame? So that'll be what I look at. Let's see what you can look at and vote on. I'll grab my keyboard and we'll create a little poll for you here. Okay, so give me a moment. And let's see what's going on here. Okay, start a poll. We'll do 3 choices. Okay, whenever I see balance, I'm going to mention it. So achieving the necessary balance. All right. And then let's take a look at healing the inner child. And opening up more abundance. And let's see if there's anything else that wants to come through. Okay. Strength, security, base chakra, since we have the card on that. Okay, you have some choices. You can look at those while we're speaking. I'm going to take a look. I'll highlight a different, well, yeah, we'll use the same deck. Okay, so let's take a look at finding love with a capital L, basically things that can bring that sense of joy and empowerment in your life. Okay. How can you light the fire of inspiration? Ace of Wands. Well, you already have a pretty clear idea on this. So we can take the ace and couple it with the 2. So of the things that you're looking at, 2 of Wands represents at least 1 or 2 ideas, usually some more than that. It's saying there has to be one where you feel the most connection to it. You can't fake an Ace of Wands. You either feel it or you don't. So if you're looking at things in front of you, this can also help you with the 7 of Cups energy. If you're like, oh my gosh, where do I go? What do I focus on? There's typically one thing that really excites or inspires or intrigues you. So go down the path of intrigue, of passion, or inspiration, or curiosity. I want to learn more about this. What does this mean? Why am I drawn to this? Those sort of inner questions are important. And then allow those thoughts to kind of lead you towards possibilities. And that's the key here. So it should feel good and it should ignite questions. Or it should ignite this feeling like, if I don't do this, I'll regret it. If I do this, I can't wait to get started. If I don't do this, I'm going to have so many questions. I have questions I want to learn. Scientists and engineers kind of move down that direction. I have a problem. I think I can solve it. I want to solve it. I'm curious. So curiosity can ignite this, it can ignite this, and eventually it ignites action. And so it needs to be curious, passion, or excited. If one of those things isn't there, keep looking. Keep going in the tool shed and see what else is there. Okay, let's see what you chose for me. Looks like we have a clear winner, opening up more abundance. Okay, good. Let's see what's coming through. I'm all on board for that because 6 of Pentacles is good, but I want to get you closer to the Queen. So let's see what's coming through for kind of like healing the 5 of Pentacles. A little bit of inner child healing will come through, but also like opening up abundance. I feel like we can group the 2. So how can you bring in more resources in your life? Okay, we have the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. All right, you're slowly sort of working your way through the suit of Pentacles because we got the 5 of Pentacles reversed and we got the 6 of Pentacles reversed. And now we have the 7 of Pentacles reversed. But the 7 of Pentacles is good. It's basically saying, I know my limits. The reversal is knowing that sometimes you just have to say no. what we see here, you'll see two different poses. This is why I like this deck. So in the upright position, we see someone who's patient, who's waiting, and who isn't rushing. The reverse, they're frustrated. They're losing their cool. They're losing that kind of like that nice momentum that they've built. So things that you can't rush, healing, you can help it happen a little bit easier, but there's certain amounts of time that have to kind of pass for different injuries, or sometimes the heart's going to heal on its own. And it takes time for grieving and for movement and for financial recovery as well. There actually are certain timelines. Let's say you've claimed bankruptcy or you're trying to improve your credit score. That's more of a US thing than international. But let's just say you're trying to rebuild after something financial has happened. Time heals everything, but time has to pass. So keep doing the diligent work. And before you know it, especially as we get older, time passes quickly and you're going to be able to have that firm foundation again. This is also just saying, let's say there were no financial issues, but you just had a resource crunch sort of thing where you're constantly over delivering and you don't have enough resources, or you're over promising and under delivering. This is just about saying no. This hand could be held up to just say, I can't do this. It's not realistic. Stop asking. So push back a little bit on that and just make sure that you're going slow enough. The snail is your totem here. You want to get that so you can get to the Nine of Pentacles. Slow, steady, consistent. You don't have to burn out all your energy at once. You don't have to pull an all-nighter. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Just take your time. By taking your time and by doing things diligently and correctly, you'll end up having more in the long run, okay? And that's the message with that. Okay, now we are at the final portion of today's reading. If you just joined, please stick around. We still have a little bit more here that we're going to look at. We're going to do a meditation, and then right after that, we'll take a look at a final card. The final card is your chance to ask some burning question that you have for this week. Do it quietly, meditate on it, and then I'll pull a card collectively and let you know what I see. Before I do that, please do hit the like and subscribe. After this reading, if you liked what you saw here, give me a like and a follow across social media as well. And I already saw someone just gifted some memberships and everything. Thank you so much for that. You can also become a member or give back with Super Chat or Super Stickers if you'd like to. Okay, let's turn the camera down for a second, take a look at the cards and see, well, actually, I don't need this today. I know what we're going to do. We're going to look at the diamond. Of course, that was the main energy, but I kind of like the subterranean cavern here. So we can imagine, if you will, for the meditation, that we are in a sort of underground, and you are, like, if you've ever seen an image of one of those caves with all the crystals in it, just imagine that you're in one of those caves. And close your eyes and feel the energy of all the crystals around you, and imagine that right in front of you is a diamond. You have actually two diamonds, one in each hand. One is just a diamond in the rough. It looks just like a standard rock. And the other one has been polished and cut. And the lesson here from the universe is neither is more important than the other one. One is potential, one has been acted upon and molded, but they're both at the core the same. So look at your life and look at yourself. Maybe some of you are shimmering diamonds out there. I'm glad if you are. Some of you may be working at chipping away some of the pieces that are kind of blocking the light. That's good. Keep working. Some of you are the diamond in the rough where you're like, I don't know where to get started. Today, realize whether you're at that beginning phase or you're perfectly faceted and everything's looking good, you're exactly where you need to be and you still matter and there's still a lot of worth and potential. Focus on the one thing that you want to do this week, because we try to focus this on 7 days, to create clarity on one of the facets. You don't have to get all the different directions and dimensions and cuts perfect. Focus on one thing and get clear on that, crystal clear. Imagine that you take the diamond that has the facets and you look into one of the facets and ask it for clarity. Close your eyes, open your heart, and just be open to advice from your higher self. How can you clarify your intention and your action this week? That's all you have to focus on. Feel the strength of both and allow your guides to speak through you as I play the singing bowl. take a moment, and as you're looking at the 2 diamonds in front of you through the course of the meditation, the other one transformed, you have 2 perfectly cut diamonds. And as you hold them, you can see light channeling through your own hands. You have chakras there as well. And you see prismatic light shining in all directions. You'd reach 1 diamond towards the top and 1 towards the earth. And you can see yourself as the magician with 2 crystals now that have fused to your hands. For those of you that saw like Logan's Run, it's almost like that. You have these diamonds in your hands. So imagine now that everything you touch this week is going to have a diamond frequency. Clear, powerful, prismatic, and you're going to get stuff done. All right, when you're ready, open your eyes. Welcome back. And let's focus on your final question that you have for me. It can be anything. Just keep it to yourself while I shuffle the cards, and then we'll collectively look at the advice that comes through. So we have the 7 of Wands in the upright position, and this is a very good card, actually. With the 7 of Wands, as a yes, no, it's yes. It does show me that there are a couple of things you want to be mindful of this week. First of all, it may take a little bit of a push or a little extra energy to get things started, but it's worth the initial push. So there are times where being pushy is good, but it's not in a sort of an annoying way. It's just sort of like, you may have to remind someone, hey, we had this conversation. Where do we stand on this? Or, or just kind of like check in, but not in a sort of way where you doubt them, just more to get it on their radar and see what's going on. This can also be you pushing yourself and saying, all right, it's kind of like the battle we have some days getting up. So last night, Apollo needed to go for a walk early, and then I went back to sleep, and I'm like, oh, I wish I still had that. I lost 45 minutes of sleep. But when it was time to get up, I thought, I got stuff to do. I got to get the teaser graphic, I got to do this. So you eventually just get yourself out, take a shower, walk Apollo again. And I was like, all right, it's worth it. But there's a push that's required sometimes. We all want to just stay in bed, but nothing's going to happen. So push yourself, whether it's to get through the alarm, to start a project, to pick up the phone and have a difficult conversation, or to check in on someone who might have forgotten to do something. The push is necessary. Okay, and that's the main thing that I get with the 7 of Wands. It's a yes, but a little required effort is attached to that. That, my friends, is everything for today. Before we wrap up, a couple of quick notes. Just remember, I am live Monday, Thursday, Friday. I do daily readings, 1 card pull. So for anybody that ever says, you talk too much or your readings are too long, and I do see those in the comments, I'm like, you can go watch a 60-second one if you'd like to. These are the longer versions. I do monthly ones as well. And then I'm trying to do some impromptu ones where they're about 20 to 25 minutes. So that gives you a nice sort of mix. So for those of you that don't have a lot of time, you can look at the 1 card readings. For those that want a deeper dive in the monthly ones, you can look at those. If you want to hang out like we do on the weekends, it's here. And then occasionally I'll do some celestial based ones, new moons and full moons in particular, and then solstices and equinoxes, and then anything else that I feel inspired to do, retrogrades and stuff like that. So I'm trying to do more celestial and energetic readings, and those tend to be the 20-minute ones. And then everything else is varying lengths from 1 minute to 1 hour. Okay, so check out my main channel page for the options and look at all of the playlists. I organize everything out, and if you're curious. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Do me a favor on the replay. If you like this, put a diamond and talk about what your sort of focus is going to be for this week ahead. Wait until it's on replay and put that as a comment. That engagement actually has been helping, believe it or not. So it's fun. I get to see all these emojis in the comments, and it's a great way to stay accountable. You can follow me on social media as well to stay in touch. And thank you for all of the participation. I've seen there's been a lot of stickers and gifted memberships and everything. So give me a moment right now just to say thanks to all of you. Thank you to Dakota, who's been helping with all of the moderation today. It makes it much easier. I appreciate that. And now let's take a moment to acknowledge memberships. It doesn't show me who gifted here. I'll have to look in chat to do that, but I'm just going to welcome all the newest members, and then I'll see if I can see it in chat in a second. All right, to the newest members, Cyprian, I think it is. Welcome back. Good to have you. The Cheerio, welcome. Cindy K, welcome. Monica, welcome back. Let's see. MC, welcome. Artemis, welcome back. Elizabeth Lutz, welcome back. Stacy, welcome. Let's see. Sophie, Amy, KB, welcome, all brand new. And let's see. Pause of Peace. That's a cool name. Welcome back. Joanne, Christina, welcome. Let's see. Julia, welcome. Natasha, welcome back. Simone, welcome. Mary Gibson, Millie, let's see. I can't read it. MLLGR Girl 25, welcome. Jacqueline, welcome. Gabrielle, welcome. And I think that's everybody. So good to have all of you, or have you back. I appreciate it. And now for super stickers and super chat. Let's see who participated today. So kicking things off today was Yoga Rising. Thank you so much for that initial contribution. I appreciate it. Yvette Sanchez, thank you. Lucy Rodriguez, Cass Friend. April Rain, thanks for that generous amount. I appreciate that. Adrian Porter, Clarissa, thank you very much. Let's see. Pima, thank you. Cut and Paste Life. Sarah Vaz, Jackie DeVilliers, Etu, Carmen, thank you so much. Let's see, Jeannie Hart, Lucy Rodriguez, Darcy, Linda Lee, Cynthia Pride, Carmen Dickinson again, thanks for both of those. Tony D, Esmeralda Van, the last part got taken off, but thank you. Sarah Lennon, Catherine, well, yes, thank you. Diana Acosta, Eileen, thank you so much for the generosity there. Amitabha and Shayna, thank you. Let's see, I know there's been some additional ones. Janet, Fritz, welcome. Good to have you as a new channel member here. I think somebody gifted some membership, so I want to say thanks in advance for that as well. Yeah, it was Catherine, thank you. And I think that is everybody. Eileen, thank you. You gifted 5. That's amazing. You were always good with that. Stephanie, thank you for being a member of 14 months. And Daniela, thank you for 16 months of membership. Let me see if I've missed anyone else here. Paranormal Experience, thank you for the 5 months of membership, and happy anniversary to all of you. I can only go back so far. Those are the ones that I could see in chat. So hopefully I highlighted everyone. If I forgot anybody, I will remember on replay to put a little heart with it. All right. I will see you back tomorrow. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. Check out the full moon reading if you haven't already. We still feel that energy today for sure. And it kind of fits nicely with retrograde. All right. I will see you soon. Have a great day ahead. And remember, you are all diamonds. Whether you're in the rough or faceted, it doesn't matter. You have that potential to shine, to grow, and you are stronger than you think. All right? From my heart to yours, lots of love. Apollo as well, who just woke up and says, what? Are we going to go for a walk, Dad? All right, guys. Have a good day. Bye-bye.